Okay, let's see if that works. Let's see. Yeah, seems to be working.
Oh, okay. You need to be careful.
I want to know what it is.
Yeah, let's see. Zoom. Right, we'll just give it a minute or two. Okay, we are live. Sophie, Amy.
Hello.
Here comes Katie. All right, so just change your name and put the organization you're in.
There you go. You should be on now.
Hello, Katie. We can't hear you, Katie, but you're looking very
Oh, you can't hear me, not sure why, but hello
oh, there we
anyway.
go. There we go. It's
There we go.
coming now. Cool. All right.
Yeah, you're all set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. So I know some of the Recovery Connections people from Gateshead came on Tuesday to this. So let's start. And the first thing I want to do is just orientate everyone. So you would have all done the 3 days um, intensive training. I know, Amy, we had to squeeze you into 2 days, and Katie, I know we've expanded you over over 6 months. But the point is that you all have an understanding now of what the coaching conversation is, the continuums, the system, the 4Q model, and creating a container. And the next part is you need to attend 10 classes of this to get 20 hours of classroom time where you practice the skill set in your role at your organization. So the organizations that we work with work in crisis, chaos, and conflict. And this is to use coaching as a skill set to support you and your colleagues in their role so that the organization can deliver what it's meant to do and live the values and the culture of that organization. Does that make sense? I thought that was quite a good summary, actually. Great. Okay, so we'll kick off. I know this is Amy's second class. Yep.
Yeah.
And whose first class is it?
Mine and Danny's.
Yep, yours and that. Anyone else? Andrew, when did you do the training? Andrew,
Yes, David.
when did you do the training?
With yourself at Fork in the Road?
When? Last week.
No, it was about 6 7 months ago, wasn't it?
November.
Yes,
Was it November or was it August?
August, definitely not August.
Okay, I'm sorry I've forgotten.
No
It's not
worries.
it's not personal, but fantastic. Welcome back. All right. So let's kick off. Who would like to start the check-in, start building the container?
I'll start, David.
Go on then. So your name and a feeling.
I'm Claire from Recovery Connection Stockton, and I'm feeling pretty good today.
Who are you tagging?
Yeah, I'm Danny from Recovery Connections in Darlington, here training with Claire at the moment. And yeah, I'm feeling really, really good and positive. It's been a very, very fun day. We've had a good time.
Who you tagging?
I will tag Sophie.
It's not Sophie, it's Kirsty, but obviously my Zoom's logged in.
All right, okay,
My Zoom's logged in for obviously my weekend check-in, so it's Kirsty Hutchinson.
Oh,
Hiya. I'm Recovery Connections Darlington, and I'm feeling really good. Sun's out. I've been out all morning, so yeah, really good.
Thanks, Kirsty. Who you tagging?
I'll tag Amy.
Good choice.
I'm Amy from the Epic Restart Foundation, and I am feeling really energized today. And I will tag Tom.
I'm Tom from Recovery Connections in Stockton, and I'm checking in today. I'm feeling a bit tired, but I'm glad I logged on today. And I'm gonna tag Andy or Andrew.
Go for it, Andrew.
Yeah, my name's Andy. Work for Recovery Connections in Stockton. It's the PA project. Been doing this for about a year now, and I'm feeling pretty excited about today.
And Andrew tags Katie.
Katie from Reach Out and Recover in Kent, and today I'm feeling quite spiritual and connected.
Oh, nice.
I can't get rid of it, so I was trying.
And I'll tag you, David.
Right. I've just seen Claire pop up in another window, and I thought, how did you get from there to there? And then, okay, that's good.
I'll leave it on about 2 seconds.
Right,
No, you're still here.
sorted. Could you keep echoing?
That's
We
better.
can hear you.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Andrew. So, David, check in. I always get a bit anxious when the call starts because I always sit with the anxiety about where's this going to go, what's going to happen, and so yeah. Here comes Tracy. Right. Let's just let Tracy in. Hey, Tracy. Tracy, you there? Hi. Hello, Tracy. Can you unmute and check in?
You all right, everyone? Yeah, I'm feeling good. Well, stressed because for some reason it's not allowing me to do it on my laptop, so I'm having to do it off my phone. So yeah, somewhat stressed trying to get everything sorted.
It's great to have you here. So you're from Recovery Connections. Whereabouts?
So I am not Recovery Connections yet. I will be on the 1st of May. I'm the Access team, Darlington Council.
Okay, great. Okay. And here's Daryl's just arrived.
And I struggled logging in, that was all.
That's all right.
Thanks,
How are you, Daryl?
I'm
Where
good,
are you
man.
from?
I'm from Middlesbrough.
Yeah,
Recovery
Recovery Connections,
yeah.
Middlesbrough, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting there. All right, so we're building the container, allowing time for people to come in. There's a bit of chaos, bit of like crisis, chaos, and conflict. We've checked everyone in. Yep. And we're going to go for 2 hours. Yep. We might finish at 3:30 if the container is quite fatigued and we're just not learning stuff. But there's a continuum of 10 weeks that we need to do, and we've got some new people who've just joined us. Some people did the training last week. Some people did it in August last year. And now let's see what agenda emerges. So is there anything anyone would like to talk about?
I have something.
Great.
That's okay.
Thank you, Amy. You rescued me. My anxiety was going up like this. It's like, oh gosh, somebody's jumped in. Great. Go for
I
it, Amy.
assume it can be about anything.
Yeah, sure.
That's okay. I have been thinking recently around professional boundaries and lived experience and how it sort of all ties in together. Because I've always worked in a background where it's been drummed into me about professional boundaries and not sharing information. And then obviously over the last probably 5 years, that's completely changed. That, we can share information about our lived experience. But I'm wondering where the boundary lies now. Because I think we need to maintain a focus on the client still. And I just wonder what people's thoughts were on it.
What a wonderful topic. Michael, would you like to check in? I just muted you, so I'm just there we go. Michael, do you want to check in?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was waiting for a link. I'm checking in fine. Absolutely brilliant today. Busy day already, but, I'm here.
And you're from Recovery Connections, yeah?
Yes, Recovery Connections, yeah.
And you did the training last week?
Last week, yes.
Yeah, okay. So the next 10 weeks are about using coaching skill sets to help develop you in your role in your organization. Yeah. And Amy's just brought the topic, professional boundaries. Where are the boundaries now? I'm used to coming from an environment where I was trained to manage those in quite a distant way. And now I'm encouraged to kind of loosen up those boundaries in a way where I share parts of my story in benefit of the client, but I'm not sure where that boundary is and what the line is. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that correct, Amy?
Oh, that's correct. Yeah.
Right. And then she ended with the question, and I wonder where everyone else is. Yeah. Great. So let's go. Let's go.
See, I find Recovery Connections boundary training was a big help because obviously the lines are slightly blurred when you come into a situation like this. And we do like a day and a half of boundaries training, and it is really helpful, and it does raise a lot of questions, but it does give you like more answers than questions as well.
Did you want to share some of those answers? Other than go and get more training.
No, you've got to think and like question yourself as like, how do I feel about sharing this? Rather than just blurting it out and then worrying about it later, because that can cause obviously it all to be blurred. And I did share a story about my necklace, which I did on coaching. And I found that because I didn't go into like too much detail, that actually helped one of our community members. That I wore that, and she's seen me wear it every day. So it is down to like your personal experience as well. It's like not share too much because they can use that against you, but just share enough, like just a little bit, so they know that you're actually there and you've lived through it, and they can see that you've come through it, and they can.
So Claire, I would just like you to repeat it. What you said's great, but just share it from the I. So what I find is if I share and
So I find if I share a little bit about myself with our community members, that it does help them, and it puts you on a level pegging with them, so they know that I understand what they're going through. I mean, my lived experience is mental health. So if I do have somebody coming in that is worried about their mental health, I can sit with them and I can show them that there is a way out.
And I'm going to ask a yes/no question. So answer the yes/no question before. Yeah. Would you like to tell us a bit about your mental health?
Yes.
Great. Feel free to share a bit of your lived experience around mental health recovery.
So I've been suffering since I was about 16-year-old. I'm now 45. And it's took me all this time to get people to listen to me and not just give me tablets and counselling. They're actually listening and exploring other options of treatment for me now. And I have in the past attempted suicide, hence why I wear the safety pin necklace, because it's a promise to myself that I won't harm myself. But I've been through a lot of trauma and it's caused a lot of mental health.
First of all, hearing you share like that stirs up sadness in me. Yeah, and compassion. And I feel honored that you've shared that. And the context of the necklace really touches me. Yeah. And it's like, oh, wow, that's clever. And my nephew suicided 3 years ago, and then my dad as well. So that's triggered my own lived experience here. Yeah. And I'm grateful that you were able to bring that into the container. And the whole container is kind of dropped now. Yep. So I just and it feels quite a tender place. And I just want to say also from safety that this is recorded in an unlisted space. But if at any time anyone wants the recording stopped or deleted, just raise their hands and I'll do that. The purpose of the recording, though, is to improve the skill set and the training and the way that lived experienced organizations can do better. Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Daniela, I noticed you've gone in and you're leaning on Claire's shoulder and you're kind of like fucking hanging on. Okay. So what's going on for you? You're in an admin role, yes?
Yeah, in Darlington. Yeah, I'm in Stockton training at the minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you've just heard one of your colleagues share something about lived experience and really kind of open themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
How did that impact you? Because your body just kind of went.
Yeah, I literally just jumped on you.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it's sort of like you feel sad. I was feeling sad. I felt really empathetic. I felt like I knew exactly what she was going through because I've got similar experiences myself. So it's sort of like with me and Claire, we can relate to each other on quite a lot of different things. So we'll lean on each other for that support. Because when you've lived through something that's similar to somebody else, sometimes you do need that emotional support. So
Okay.
that's what I feel like I do for Claire, and Claire does for me.
Okay. So you heard the story, it
Yeah.
activated your story, you jumped on her, that was
Yeah.
your words. Yeah. So just before you jump next time, yeah, Claire, are you okay with being jumped on?
We do need to get her on the boundaries training, but yes, I'm fine, David.
Okay. But you can see there's a lot of love and care and laughter,
Yeah.
and my call would be there's a lot of love and support in the room right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And Claire, what's your role?
I'm administrator for Stockton PA project.
Okay, cool. So we've got two admin people sharing their lived experience in a way that's going to be good for the organization because you're both recovering from mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
I just made that assumption, Daniela, because you said you relate so much.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, great. All right. So Amy, what do you brought in the conversation around boundaries and where are they? What have you learned so far, if
Yeah, I
anything?
think what Claire was saying was really moving, definitely. Um, I think one thing I picked up on was that she said about in the training they'd done about not sharing too much because clients could use it against you
Hmm.
as well. Um, and in training I've done, that's been reiterated to me before, but I've never personally experienced that. Like I've never found that anything that I have shared, they've used it against me. Um, so again, I wonder if anyone has experienced that. I would be, because I'm not sure if that's just put into training or if people have experienced that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So just pause it there. Pierre, is it Pierre?
Dan, yeah, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Would you like to check in and tell us where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from Darlington Recovery Connections. I'm a rehab coach. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, okay. Yeah, I'm good. Day off today. I've just been rushing about. Sorry, I'm late. I've just been to pick my car up. It's been in the garage. So I've literally just got back in the house now.
Great. Well, thank you for making the effort on your day off. You need to, for certification, you need to attend 10 of these classes, a total of 20 hours on top of the 3 days. So well done. And you're welcome to attend more than 10, but that's a requirement for certification.
Okay, thanks. Can everyone see me? Because I don't know if my camera's on.
No, we can't.
Trying to figure it out here now. Why it's not coming on.
Sorry, David. Quick question. How many hours did you say you have to do if you want the certificate?
20 hours, 10 of these classes.
Oh, fab. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you wanted to do it quickly, you could also come on a Tuesday morning. So if you can't make a Thursday, you can do it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, that'd be great because I've got a couple of annual leave days booked in on my way, so I'll have to.
Okay, no
Tuesday.
problem.
Thank you.
That's going to be fun. Okay. All right, there he is. Okay,
yeah.
so Amy, just to go back to you, I love what you said, where you said, well, that's not my experience, but they've just put that in the training for the sake of putting it in the training, and maybe it's not relevant. Okay. So I've been doing this work for almost, well, I've been around, this is my 29th year in this kind of world. Yep. And because of my lack of boundaries, I have put myself in some very difficult situations where my good nature has been turned against me. Yep. My fear is, though, if we say don't do that, I think it can take away from all the good I've been able to do by sharing my story. So I've had to kind of work that out for myself. Now, just to give you a story, yeah, my third wife. Yeah, when I met her, I used to go to the fellowship and I was 4 years and she was in treatment and the treatment center sent her to a meeting and at the meeting I shared and I saw her in the meeting and I went up to her in the break and I said, I'm going to marry you one day, you're going to have my kids. So you can imagine like how that kind of went down in the fellowship, yeah? And she was involved with someone. She got the first time I met her father, she'd just been I had to go and bail her out of jail because she'd been done for attempted murder with her partner at the time, who later tried to kill her, and she was using heroin, and things were terrible. And eventually, she got into she came up to Johannesburg, and she got into treatment, and our relationship kind of kicked off. Yeah, and looking back at it, I received a lot of criticism about it. Yeah, and I went through a whole lot of anguish. Is that the right word? Yep. And eventually she got well and we got married and we had kids and she opened up her school and she's helped many kids grow up. She's been a wonderful asset to society, and we got divorced after we'd been together for 11 years. Yeah, and all through that time, people had all sorts of opinions and judgments around it. But the one thing that I would not do is to put myself through that sort of pain again. Yeah, and stress. So I think a lot of these things need to be put in place to protect us in our role as we work in these environments. Yeah. But we don't want to put it in so much that we can't then build rapport with our clients to affect change. Now I feel a bit vulnerable. I've shared too much of my personal story, and you lot are all thinking, "Oh my God, what are we doing with him?" But yeah.
I'm thinking, how many wives you on?
Well, that's I'm not getting married again, and I've been with Tia for 14 years, and
is that number 4? Is that 3? And
no, we're not going down that route again, and yeah.
Yeah, I've done it twice, no more.
Okay. All right. So there's some level 1 listening going on there. Cool. Tracy, Kirsty, did you just come in? Did you check in? Okay, I can't hear you because you're muted, but I think she just said, I just switched my camera on.
Yeah, I've checked in. I just switched my camera on because I was down to Sophie at first, but it's changed now.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Crisis, chaos, and conflict. Okay. Cool. Anyone want to build on the conversation?
I can jump in if you want. From my experiences of being here coming up to 3 months now, I kind of share from my experiences what other people share. So if somebody's story is similar to mine, or if they're talking about something that they're concerned about, I will try to look back in my history and try to not mimic, but try to copy what they're going through, and use some of my experience to then talk to that person. Now, I mightn't share everything with the person, or you leave certain bits out depending on who the person is. But every person I meet, there's a part of me that I can give to that person individually. So that's the way I try to handle it, if that makes any sense.
So what's going to keep you safe, Michael, as you share your lived experience?
My lived experience is more family driven and personal, but I've never been in active recovery, but I was habitual. So it would be Friday, Saturday night, going out, drinking, partying, traveling, partying, just doing the things. Now, if I'm talking to somebody, we might talk about the past and how it used to be, and because it's a lot of the trauma came from my family. I can find myself sharing with people about my family, because it's not really directly triggering me or influencing me in a way where I am coming out and saying stuff. But as I say, there's a lot of hurt and trauma there, but I'm pretty much dealing with that, and I've dealt with that in the past. So, yeah.
And what is your role at Recovery Connections?
I'm harm reduction support worker. So I do 2.5 days in the needle exchange, up here. So it's right on the front line, talking to people, a lot of people that are in trouble, and a lot of people that are also, I do a lot of bloodborne virus tests as well, which can be people that are in recovery or are out the other side, and they're doing an annual checkup, that kind of stuff. And then I will be going out for 2.5 days a week out into the community, doing outreach. So stuff like the coffee bike and going out to gyms for steroid abuse, anything I can possibly do in the community. I'm still defining my role at the moment. So yeah, that's my job title, what I do.
All right. So Amy, back to you, love. Where are we taking the container?
I made some notes.
Yes,
So what I've written is only share what's relevant to the client, only share what I have dealt with or feel safe to share. And there's a difference between personal boundaries with the client and professional boundaries. Sorry, professional boundaries with the client and personal boundaries. That's what I've heard from what people have been saying. So, for example, David, you were saying, from what the story you were telling sounded to me like personal boundaries. And it made me think about a time when I was addicted to work and would work over my hours, which was a personal boundary for me rather than a professional boundary. Maybe some of that for me is to differentiate between the two. What I've taken away from what's been said.
Ooh. Anyone else want to come in?
Yeah, I'll come in on that one. I think I resonate with it from yesterday. We had a one-to-one session with a client, and he was expressing his dislike for the NA part of the program, because it's just recently started. And I was having a chat with him, and in one group sessions we share to make them understand that they're not alone. But his request was to have me or the other rehab coach share our story in NA. And I've two things really resonated with me, not to put a boundary in and say I don't think that's a good idea, because they're working with us day to day. I don't want them to have a negative I could say something in my share that they really dislike, or they could really sit there and go, "No, that's terrible. Why has he done that?" And then me going forward and coaching them on a day-to-day basis in the rehab, would they then shut off, distance themselves from what I'm telling them? And then the other thing is they used someone that had previously shared in the NA meeting how they were in active addiction. Then something happened in the rehab, and they instantly then thought and looked at that person and went, "Well, he used to be like that in his active addiction, so that makes me think he's going to do it again." So I just said, "Listen," I said, "we're all open for sharing, but for me and the other facilitator, I don't think it's a good idea for us to share our story in that meeting, because I don't think yous will get from it what other people would in a share, because we're trying to coach you, and I've seen that yous are using things what people have said before against them, so that can put up a boundary between them two people. So if someone's trying to teach you something but you have not lost all respect for them, it can cause that animosity."
Awkward silence.
Yeah. So, but no, that's it. So I had to put in a boundary in place saying we can share related stories in the group where we feel comfortable in saying certain things, where we're open then to share what we think yous are able to hear. I said, but this early on in recovery, and especially when we're teaching you, I don't
So
think from
you're making a call
yeah,
when you're meeting someone. You think, is this appropriate now? Isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How do you know when you get it wrong?
How do I know when I get it wrong? When they don't listen, or they use it to a disadvantage, when they don't like what I'm saying, or they shut off completely from that share.
And what do you do when you do get it wrong?
Probably I'd take them to one side and have a one-on-one if I noticed that something was gone wrong, have an explanation how they were triggered, how it's triggered them, what was it that I've said, and then try and explain it in a different type of light, and just say it's everyone's got the past, but yeah, unfortunately it hasn't really had to come to that point, but just hold the container, which we do now, incorporating into our weekly thing, where if people have got anything to share that they've felt uncomfortable about, that's their side to say how it's made them feel and how it can go forward, saying, right, well, don't talk about this, or I'm uncomfortable about this situation.
So I often get it wrong. Yeah, it's one of the struggles that I find. It's like when to bring that authentic self, when to share stuff, when to have a courageous conversation, when modeling this sort of stuff. The other day I sent a photograph in a WhatsApp group. It was just me going,
yeah,
and then I got feedback. Well, that was unprofessional, David. And I don't think it was unprofessional. That was just me kind of going, well done. I got yeah. But when I do offend, I kind of put my hands up and go, oh shit, sorry, that really wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
I think the reputation precedes you. That's the problem sometimes.
Well, there's that too. There's that too. 80. There we go.
I find if I don't bring my authentic self, then I don't bring anything. And it does get me also in trouble, David. I'm very much like you. I will send the silly message. I will do the silly text. I'll wear bunnies in my ear because I want to. You know, this is, I bring me, and I don't think if I stop doing that, then I don't bring anything. I think I've learned over the time I've been doing my job where my boundaries lie. I think it's something that you have to learn for yourself, and I think you feel that whether you're uncomfortable or not uncomfortable, I think as you build that rapport with someone, you naturally start to understand where that goes. And you're not always going to get it right, and it is about saying, do you know what, I fucked up, I'm sorry. But it's built, for me, it's been about building that window of tolerance we talk about, you know, what I can manage, and recognizing when something might be triggering, or when actually I'm just activated, you know, I'm just relating to it rather than it having an impact on me, differentiating between that and learning how to deal with that. So during this whole process of coaching, I'm learning as much about myself as I am about the other person, and then I can bring that to the coaching conversation, and just remember, actually, I'm just having a conversation. That's all I'm doing. Don't put all this pressure on myself. It's just a conversation, because I think in traditional services, when you can't self-disclose, you don't get very much at all. You have to give a little bit of yourself to get a little bit back. That's just my experience.
And what is your role?
I am the volunteer coordinator for RAW, which is a lived experience recovery organisation. But I wear many hats. I'm also the director of the company.
So when you share to your volunteers, yeah, so you're not kind of working with people on the ground, you're working with volunteers that are working with people on the ground. So you're one step back. How do you manage your professional boundaries and your lived experience there? Because Daniela and Claire, they're both in admin roles, yeah, and they've also been impacted by mental health and getting into recovery.
Yeah. All of the volunteers that we have are from lived experience, and they can be from one day's clean time, if you like, up to 10 years. So in a way, there is very much still some frontline stuff, and I have to help to educate them on their boundaries, because, as you say, we work in an environment of crisis, conflict and chaos, and, you know, things have gone wrong. We're a pretty new organisation, and volunteers are not always at the place where they understand the boundaries and where they have to do that. So I have to share my experiences of where I've got it wrong, or of what can happen, to help them see how they do it, if you get what I mean. If that makes sense. But having those conversations, being there, you know, I'm the person they call. Okay, they go, I don't know what the fuck to do here. I haven't got a clue. And okay, okay, let's talk about it. Let's see where we are, and then go from there. But never going to get it right. Never.
What are some of the things that have gone wrong?
Okay, so as you know, we lost someone, a volunteer, to an accidental overdose quite early on.
Okay, so let's just pause there, Katie. So first of all, thank you for bringing that, and it can't get much worse than that.
No.
Somebody dies, yeah, and I'm not taking away from the sacredness of the loss around that. Yeah, I'm want to be really respectful, but I also want to kind of just bring some reality to the environment that we work in. Yeah. And when somebody dies, it really impacts us as individuals. Yep. And the organization has a duty of care, I would think, to be supportive of when that happens. So thank you, Katie.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I'd actually only been in the job for a couple of months when that happened, but she was a friend of mine. We had been in treatment together, so you know that
Okay,
was
so there's another. So not only have I lost a colleague, but I've lost a friend. Yep. And imagine going to work with that and the complexity of the boundaries and self-care and lived experience there. So there's not going to be any training or PowerPoint presentation that's going to be, yeah, it's like shit, let's sit down and now we need to process the many feelings around that to separate them for the roles so the roles can respond appropriately. Would you agree with that, Katie?
absolutely agree with that. There is no teaching. Cannot, you just can't. You don't know how that's going to impact people on a personal or professional level. It was very difficult, of course it was. However, I like to think we upheld our duty of care within that. We offered all the support that we could offer to the volunteers and the people impacted. And we also, you know, that helped us direct what we was doing a little bit. You know, with contamination of drugs, that was very much a part of what happened. So that
Sorry,
is
time out. Katie, I really want to honor you for that post that went out and meeting with Project 6 around the nitazines, and the contaminant. I thought it was great that you commented on that post and got Project 6 involved as well. Thank you.
Thank
Back
you.
on.
Okay,
I
thank you.
wanted to phone you at midnight and go, yeah, well done. This is what we need to do.
David, you know I don't have boundaries. You could have done. Anyway, yeah, and do you know what? No boundaries in that situation could have done anything. We was a community who had to come together to support each other during that time. And there would be no point in saying you can't let this affect that, or because it's bullshit. So as I say, you know, from that, we took the things from that and helped our organisation move forward and looking at the dangers around this. And it brought a lot of things into focus for it. But what it also did was it allowed a lot of people to open up into those conversations, to actually have those honest conversations, because she was unable to. She felt the stigma from relapsing, and she felt, even though we all loved her dearly, that she could not speak about it. So
Bad, huh?
yeah,
It's,
you know,
okay.
absolutely. But you know, on the flip side, I see what we do as her legacy. We will speak for her because she can't, and for all those other people who don't have the voices. So yeah, but you know, like you say, what's the worst going to happen? Well, the worst that could happen happened very, very quickly. And I'd like to think we've grown, we've learned, and we can come to things with more compassion, understanding, and honest and open conversations because of that.
So Katie, how are you feeling right now this second?
I'm feeling emotional, you know,
Yeah,
I am feeling emotional.
I can hear it.
I feel very sad
Yeah.
because I know how lonely she must have been, you know, so that's the sadness I really feel. However, I also feel a sense of pride
So
and hope. Sorry.
You just pause. No, don't apologize. I just want us to pause on the sadness. It's like fuck the sadness and the loneliness. Yeah. Just give it a, instead of just kind of running about yeah. Yeah. And and I want to thank you for bringing this story today here in kind of honor of your lived experience of working in this field, yeah, with somebody that you were in treatment with, you became friends, and then you became colleagues, yeah. And now sharing this story is a bit of mentorship. This is what my lived experience was, yeah. And I want to know, are you okay with these feelings that are coming up? Because you look okay.
I am okay. I am
Yeah.
okay. And again, I think because of the work I've been doing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your dog in the background barking?
Yes, she's being very naughty. I'm so sorry. You know I have a zoo.
No, that's okay. That's all right. So, Amy, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. I think one of the things that I picked up from what you were saying, Katie, was at the beginning, actually, when you said about working in environments where you weren't allowed to be your authentic, bring your authentic self. And yeah, that made me feel like really sad actually about that. And that I can really resonate with that. And it makes me want to get some justice there. Um, yeah, and I do really resonate with that.
Hey, Tom, did you want to say something there?
Not necessarily. It's obviously it's quite it's just I think with I've got a slightly different perspective on boundaries, if you don't mind me explaining. So when we're working with people in recovery, we're in like this kind of the culture of recovery. It's very centered about around being authentic and being open about your experience. And I can see why the use of sharing your experience can build rapport with people, but sometimes it's I have to question whether I'm saying it to benefit the engagement of that person or whether I'm saying it to almost make myself feel better and validate myself within the recovery area thing. Do you know where I'm coming from? And I think it comes down to the intent behind what you're wanting to share and having the integrity as a coach or whatever role you're doing in your organization to be like, why am I sharing and I don't want to project my experience on someone just for the sake of making myself feel like I belong in my role more. Does that make sense?
Oh, what wise words. What wise words. Oh, are you, is, are you done, Tom?
Yeah, that's it.
No, no, that was great. Okay. So why don't we take a 7-minute break? Yeah, and we come back here at three o'clock. Yeah. Is that good for everyone?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
spot on.
Cool. See you all at 3.
David, before I go, Becca sends her apologies for not attending. I said I'll
No,
pass it on.
that's fine. We'll see
It's
her in a
okay.
couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right, 1 minute past 3. Those smokers.
We're back.
We're there.
I did not realise you heard. Oh, Scheisenhauser.
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 Oh, you two are the giggly ones, huh? That's great, huh?
Yeah, I've got a role next week as well.
I know. We're very excited about it.
Good. All right. So let's start the check-in. Who wants to build the container?
I'll do it.
Go on then.
Oh, me or Tracy? I'm confused.
Who said I'll do it?
Oh, me. Right, okay. So, yeah, no, feeling great, feeling happy, feeling very giggly. Yeah, it's been a really good day. I've actually learned quite a lot as well, to be honest, about my job role and things like that and what I'll actually be doing for admin in Darlington. So, yeah, really good.
Someone going to tell her to tag someone?
Oh, sorry, I'll tag Tracy.
She is. I was super stressed when I first came on, obviously, with the nightmare with my laptop and trying to sort my phone out. But I feel good now I've seen my girlies. I'll tag Claire.
Did you tag me there, Tracy?
I did.
Thanks, love. Love y'all.
We love you.
So I've just been basically called a bad mother over text. So I'm feeling a bit shitty. Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay. Yeah, Claire's got a lot going on at the moment. She's feeling really upset, very emotional.
Looks like it.
Yeah, she's got a lot going on at the minute, but I've been trying to cheer her up in small bits and pieces. But yeah,
That's all right. Just tag someone on her behalf.
Yeah, I will tag Kirsty.
Kirsty. Where's Kirsty? There's Kirsty.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. I'll tag Dan.
I had a feeling that was coming. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just in the middle of trying to find in that break some shoes that I wore the last time I went to an event. So I've a black tie event tomorrow, so I'm stressing like mad trying to get everything sorted for it. But other than that, I'm all right. I'll tag. Oh shit. Who hasn't been? Daryl.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm in a good place today. Life's good. I hate these Zoom meetings, though. I can't stand them. But I'd sooner speak face to face. But I'm in a good place anyway. I can't see who else to tag. How do I find out who else I can tag?
Tag Tom.
Tom, then.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very appreciative to be in the container today, and I'm feeling a lot more settled in it compared to the 2 o'clock at the beginning. So yeah, and I'm gonna tag Katie.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I enjoyed that first half, and I loved what you said, Tom, because it took me back. I remember saying something very, very similar, because when I was in early recovery, there was that whole glamorizing and, the war stories, and it took me time to understand that that is not what recovery is about. It's about changing that. It's not about glamorizing it. So thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, and still feeling spiritual and connected as I did at the beginning. And I will tag Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much. Feeling good today. Had a very positive morning at work. Yeah, as well, I found what David said very interesting. And I did find the only thing that I remember David saying something to me last week about work, but not in a negative way, in a joking way. And that triggered me in a way like I felt like I had to justify myself, but he was doing it in a funny way, but I had to justify my position, which I feel like I have to do sometimes myself because I haven't been in active recovery. So yeah, like out of everything in the whole 3 days, that was the only thing that triggered me a little bit. So yeah, but apart from that, technically great.
Are you tagging Michael?
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, thank you. I'm enjoying the sessions, although I did do the course with David in August. I just need a bit of refreshment on it, I think. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Looking forward to the next ones as well.
Right. Who hasn't been? Amy, did you go?
Oh no, I haven't. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Really thankful for what everyone brought to container in the first half. Like lots of things for me to think about. So thanks to everyone. And I'll tag David.
I check in. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I feel when Daryl said that he hates the Zoom calls, I think, oh shit, what can we do to support and help? Daryl, can you see all of us on the screen, or are you only seeing one person at a time?
One person at a time.
Try swiping to the left.
Yeah, I see everybody now.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
That might help a little bit. And Michael, I'm sorry if I triggered you with whatever I said, but I really do relate to saying, oh, I have to justify my place or my position. And I really liked what Tom said as well about just being conscious about what it is that I'm sharing about myself and what are my motives and what's behind it all. So yeah, okay. So where are we taking the container now? The first half was about boundaries and lived experience, the complexities of the various roles and everything. It's a very what's that ice cream that's got everything in it?
Neapolitan.
There you go. There you go. It is like that, huh? That was like the timing between Katie and Dan there was perfect. Okay. All right. So is everyone checked in? Yeah. Okay. So where are we going now?
I'd be really interested to hear a bit more about Michael saying he feels he needs to justify his position.
Okay. So let's give that a subject matter as opposed to Michael, how are you justifying your position? Let's take it away from that and let's create the theme of like lived experience and justifying your role in an organization.
Yeah. Why do you feel you need to justify your role in your organization, Michael?
So don't ask a why question. Say what is
Yeah.
it about?
Yeah.
I would
So
say,
what is it? Yeah, go on.
I get the question, don't worry. So for me, I've only been in this role about 3 months coming up. And sometimes I do find myself, and not even that some people have asked sometimes, of justifying why I'm here. Because sometimes people look at you a little bit differently if you haven't been in active recovery, or if you're not in that situation where, as I say, I've done things in my life, but I went about things another way, where I've come out of stuff and, I've sought help for mental health, got on good tablets, and kind of moved on with my life, doing different things. But I come from it from a side as well with my family. Pretty much my whole, my brother, my sister, my father, my nephew all have died through alcohol and drugs. So I come from it from a lived experience from that side of going through life with people in my family dying with drugs and seeing that happen. So sometimes I do find myself explaining to people, they might ask me, well, what was your, and I have to say, I've never been in active recovery. And I know a lot of people have, and I think about 90% of Recovery Connections has been. But then I have to kind of just tell my story of a bit of where I come from and why I'm doing my role and why I'm passionate about it, rather than coming from that lived experience of the recovery side of it.
Can I say something on the split of that?
Yeah.
Like, just towards you there, Michael. So I think I was the same when I went into treatment. One of my counsellors, I ended up having two. One of them I refused to sit with at the beginning because she wasn't an addict. And I was in my mindset and I was like, how can an addict tell me what to do if they're not an addict? And then I really struggled to deal with that, but she ended up really massively helping me. But on the spin side of that is you've got the lived experience from the other side of the fence to see what addictions cause to you. So when I was in active addiction, I only cared about me. I didn't see anyone else's feelings because I was selfish. I was everything. I was tunnel visioned. So on the other side of things, you've got that experience of seeing what it's like to deal with someone else being an addict on it. It's affecting your life. So you can relate in that scenario and just say, this is how it can be looking on that side of the fence.
Yeah. But let's say, like, I did have, but my problems were a lot of habitual problems. As I say, it wasn't like, I have been taking drugs, drunk, you know what I mean?
Michael, we know you're a fuck up and you belong. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I feel like I have to, sometimes you have to
I
say,
get
well,
it.
I'm drunk and I'm drunk.
I get it, and I just want to call bullshit on your insanity there of thinking that you don't belong. I get it. I really, and I'm really appreciative of you kind of bringing this to the container, but I want to call bullshit because it's a systemic problem. And everyone in the system gets impacted by it. So your role might not have been the person that was using the substance, but you are certainly impacted by it.
Yeah.
And when you just went through the amount of loss that you've been through, I then think, oh fuck, that's a hell of a lot. How do I even start to talk about this when there's a man here who thinks that somehow his story doesn't bring. So that's the first thing I wanted to.
Yeah, I agree.
The second thing I want to bring to some awareness around is the madness of a culture of addiction that Dan was talking about. You don't go to a doctor, and say to the doctor, I'm not going to talk to you because you haven't got cancer and I've got cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, and if substance use disorder is a DSM-5 diagnosed condition, there's going to be treatment professionals out there that are going to be looking at the criteria, and you're going to want to be treated by somebody who's comes from a professional. Put it this way, I want to be treated by somebody that's kind of trained in a professional way around that. However, the doctor-patient relationship can sometimes be what's the word I'm looking for? Difficult, because the rapport between the doctor and the patient is impacted. Yep. And what I mean by like that is my mother would go to her doctor, yep, at 75 years old, and the doctor would ask her about her drinking, and she'd go, "Oh no, I don't drink, doctor." She would lie to the doctor because of, and then I was like, "Mum, you're old enough to be this doctor's grandmother, and you're behaving like what the like, Mum." And so when it comes to sharing our stories, we're looking to build rapport within the system and all the role players. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your story is of vital importance. Please don't go and smoke crack to think you have to have to belong.
No, thank you very much. And did that help anyway, Katie? Oh, she's gone.
We're helping Katie. Well,
No, I know
Katie's run
Katie asked
off.
a question.
No, sorry, dog issue. I was just curious where that thought came from, that you had to justify yourself. I think
know.
I think that's what I was curious about.
It comes from a place of coming into a role where it is totally different from anything I've ever done before. And I'm having to deprogram myself of the way I've worked jobs previously, and to go into this with fully open arms like I can, where I'm not just being told, that's what you got to do, there's your job, get on with it. This is a job that it's not like that. And as I say, I'm still going through a process of deprogramming everything I've really ever learned about jobs, and going into this one, I've got time to take me time and understand my role and what the recovery side of life is, so I can give my best as well to people that I need to help. So that's what I'm learning and trying to do.
So just let's just have a bit of empathy for Michael here. Yeah. So Michael's coming, I'm going to say, from the normal world, which it's just, but coming into an organization that's peer-led, 90% people with lived experience, from a very destructive part of addiction. I'm not surprised he feels a little bit left out. It must be a bit like a Muslim person going to an organization where everyone's Christian and they've never celebrated Christmas before. And now it's a Christmas party and drinks and all that sort of stuff. It must feel like quite alienating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it would be insensitive to say, "Oh no, don't feel like that, Michael."
No, I'm getting through it. People are, you see it. There is still, when you're working with people with lived experience as well, things are very different from a normal office environment. For example, some people have a lot of barriers you've got to break down still, and to get to know and get to talk to, and sometimes that could take a month to 2 months for even people to really start talking to you. Some people are quite friendly, but then and there's a lot of, especially where I work, a lot of people have been through recovery and their addiction together with the coaches that are here. So they've got a very, very strong bond, and walking into that is quite daunting, but amazingly challenging as well. So, it tests your skills very well. To me, it does.
So let's just get clarity of what your role is, what you've been employed to do, yep, and how we can support you in doing that better.
So So I'm working, as I say, I'm working on the front line in the needle exchange, which I find myself building rapport with pretty much everybody I've seen. I've probably seen over 100 clients in the last
Great.
month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when somebody walks in,
just over 100 clients, and yeah, somebody walks in, I will start and ask them, how you doing? You know, straight away, how you doing? Are you all right today?
and what do you think the impact for that person is when they come in and they meet somebody that's kind of going, hey, how are you doing?
Very well. There is quite a few, for example, well, we've got a kind of a 50-50 split. So we do have people that come in and with steroid to get equipment for steroid use. And we do get a smaller majority of people that come in for, let's say, cocaine or heroin, and that would get pins and stuff for that. Now, and you might get them.
Michael, you just avoided the question.
Oh, sorry. What was the question again? Sorry. It depends who I'm talking to. To me,
yeah.
Who I'm talking to. But I'd always ask that question: how are you doing? And it's straight away. It's disarming people. For me, it's somebody being nice to them. It's disarming a little bit for me, for the way I look at it.
So when you said that, I felt sadness come up, because it felt really nice what you were saying. Hey, how are you doing? It felt really genuine and authentic. You felt like a warm, engaging person.
Yeah.
I felt a sense of pride that, oh wow, we got a good man on the front line there.
Yeah, and as I say, I do try to meet people where they are.
Was a compliment.
Oh, thank you very much. But yes, I do try to meet people where they are as well. So I will talk to people. As I say, not depending on what they're using, but you know, if somebody's maybe homeless, I will start. How was last night? How was today doing? Have you eaten?
Oh wow. Okay, so you're getting curious about a fellow human being that people have most probably not been looking at, noticing, walking over, and actually maybe you're just one person that actually sees this human.
Yes, and I will get them to sit down so that I am looking at them face to face in their eyes. And as I say, so I am asking them basic questions. How's your wounds doing? I try not to make my job transactional as I possibly can. I try to make it a conversation, always risk assessing in my head of what to ask next.
So you're engaging with the person, you're coaching, you're building rapport, you're curious, you're asking questions, you're when you say you look into their eyes, it's not like, oh, well, how you doing?
I'm actively listening. So when they're talking, I'm actually taking an interest in what somebody's saying.
Yeah. So and you're also doing the level 3, all the other kind of
yes.
checkboxes.
I'll be looking as well at that point at if the need. When was the last time the bloodborne virus was checked? You know what I mean? And then, okay, well, maybe looking at that. Okay, how can I get this person? They might have refused it before. How can I now not convince this person, but ask this person in my way how we can maybe get to this point of getting certain things done.
So where are you getting the message "I don't belong" from?
I don't really believe that, but I do. No, I don't. As I say, I'm beginning to feel it less and less and less the more I'm here. But that'll come naturally. That will come naturally. I know I'm a caring person, and I know this job's perfect for me.
Auntie, why are you laughing like that?
Because I seem to remember having a similar conversation with you, David, about my imposter syndrome around my own position.
Oh.
And being exactly where Michael kind of is a little bit now, but also recognising how wonderful he would is for someone coming in wanting some care, conversation and support. You know, it's like You've got it all there. You've got everything you need right there.
Yeah,
You know.
I do understand it. As I say, I'm proud of myself. Every time I do something, I feel, and not, it isn't about me, but I feel like people will walk out of that room knowing that somebody does care. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? That somebody has taken the time. You know, I've got people that even come in now to see me just to have a chat. You know what I mean? That they've had probably talked to nobody for 2 or 3 days, 4 days, and they'll come in and have a chat with me. You know what I mean? So as I say, I feel personally I'm doing a great job, because when somebody walks out that room, I know I've done a good thing. So that's how I feel. I know. So yeah, but I'm building my own positivity up about it. But I will get there. I will get there with it. Thank you.
Well, I think you're there already, but still, we'll wait for you to realise it, like Katie just kind of realised it.
But yeah, then as I say, so it might be a simple thing of just taking somebody down and getting some tea and toast, or getting somebody a sleeping bag for the night, or calling the doctors for them. Which, as I say, it's not above and beyond, but it's something that not a lot of people would do for people. You know what I mean? The stigma's there around it, and it's just breaking. It's changed me as a human being. Even in 2.5 months, it's changing me as a human being, as how I view society and how I view people in our society and them fringes of society.
Okay. Yeah, it's humbling, huh?
Yeah, very humbling indeed.
Very humbling, yeah. And confrontational. It's confronting and humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's indeed.
All right. Andrew, would you like to come in for a bit?
Yes.
Good.
What would you like me to say?
I'm not sure.
Well, mine, we are a peer-led organisation, but most of my sort of community members are coming in kind of in distress, or more, they need something. So my role sometimes is just to facilitate what they need and what their outcomes want. So that's mainly my role sometimes, with being the peer-led support. We can offer them safe space, comfortable environment sometimes, more one-to-one. But if you're on about sort of my addiction, so it sometimes does help with talking to community members, that you have that same rapport with them, that they know that you're sort of coming from the same sort of complex needs they've had, or so that's how I see my role. But helping them, as what Michael is saying, is quite rewarding. So that's kind of my role, or what I've seen over the last few months. So that is our role, as in this peer-led support program that we're in. So yeah, that's what I feel.
What's your takeaway from today?
From being in the program with yourself in August, I'm a bit with the program with yourself. I do remember bits of it, but as I say, in August, it was a while ago. So it's nice to hear what everyone's been doing in the program with yourself, and what they're up to now. So this is the new sort of group, is it, from the last sort of meeting you had?
Yeah.
So
So Andrew, what could we have done better to have kept kind of walk next to you?
Oh, you mean like coming in with this sort of this side of it? Is this what you mean?
Yeah. Like you did the training in August. What could
Yeah,
we have done better that you only come here now in April?
No, it's not. It's nothing to do with not. It's just time constraints and work and sort of commitments that
Okay.
yeah. So it's not a case of it was just getting around to be able to get to do it on the next sort of intake. So that's why I'm back on.
Okay. So if you want to come more and you can do a Tuesday as well, you're welcome to.
Yeah,
So
I quite.
yeah,
If I'm sort of booked in time for the 2 till 4 on a Thursdays now. So with
okay, all
with
right,
this new group, yeah.
okay. So just allow yourself some space to settle in then. That's great. All right. So Daryl, let's go to you quickly. Yeah.
Yep.
I I love the fact that you say you hate Zoom. I love that.
Yeah, this is all new to me because I was in active addiction for 40 years. And it's just learning about a new way of thinking in it for me. I mean, boundaries. I never had any boundaries. I just trod over everyone in addiction. I'm doing some boundary training at the end of this month just to learn a bit more. And I take a lot from everybody. What everybody says, I take a little bit and think about it after, and I think, fucking, oh, they're right. Or sometimes I think, fucking, they're wrong. But that's just my lived experience. And I think all I want to do now, because I see still a lot of friends who are out there on the streets and struggling. And if I can just point them in the right direction and see them get well, then that makes me feel better in myself as well. And that's like a good place to be in my head at the minute. I mean, I do a bit of work for Recovery Connections, going to mental Rosemary Park, a few drop-ins here and there. I'm looking at going into jails to do a little bit of work as well. So life's all right at the minute.
So and just remind me what your role is there. Did you say
I'm an ambassador.
ambassador? Yep. Okay. And what makes a good ambassador?
Someone who cares.
Okay, great. All right. And
Uh,
what else?
Someone who can help someone else and steer them in the right direction. And if I don't know the answers, then speaking to someone in organisation who can put me right on that.
Okay. So what sort of direction?
Steering them into recovery, talking to them, sharing my experiences with them, and being able to sit there and know where they're at.
Okay, so sharing your experience might be like, oh yeah, well, for me to get kind of secure housing, I went and did this. Or for me, when I needed to go see a doctor, this is who I went and this is the process that I went through. So you share your lived experience in how you got through those
dark places.
Yeah, great. Okay. And how are you doing with Zoom and the technology here?
It's all right at the minute.
It's all right at the minute. Okay. Because it can feel very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My anxiety's gone through the roof a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just deal with it, don't you?
Okay.
It's not going to kill me, is it?
Okay. And where do you get that resilience from?
I think through addiction.
Tell me more about that.
Places I've been, things I've seen, things I've done, living on streets, all sorts.
Things I've done. Oh, I hate that saying when you think, oh God, some of the things I've done. Okay.
And we beat a son up about them, don't we? But for me, I don't look at past today. Well, I still remember it, but I have to move on now from that.
Well, it's great having you here, and thank you for sitting here with your anxiety going through the roof. And you mentioned your anxiety a lot in the 3-day training, but yet you still came and you were still there and you participated. And you're from the Foxes, yes?
Yes.
The Foxes, yeah. When you said the Foxes, you've always reminded me of Mr. Fox. You know, the fantastic Mr. Fox, I think the cartoon character's called.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. So let's go to Tracy. Tracy? Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. We don't have to go to you. I mean, I'm only asking the question to like be supportive and like,
It's
what's
fine. Go on.
go on, it's fine. Or what's he gonna ask? Go on. It's fine.
What, Matt? What do you want to know?
Well, what would you like to tell us?
Um, I don't know. I think I've enjoyed this as much as I did the course, to be honest.
Okay, so it's still helpful for you.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. What's
Yeah.
been helpful about it?
I think the bit about boundaries
Yeah.
earlier on, and knowing where to draw the line, because it can be a bit of a dodgy area.
It's so blurred, huh?
Yeah, very much so. So I think, yeah, and especially when Dan shared about, you know, when to say something and when it's appropriate and when it could be a hindrance, that was massively helpful. Because obviously I'm going into the same role as Dan. So yeah, so that was a massive help.
Wonderful. Okay. So shall I leave you there, Tracy?
Yeah.
All right. But let's go back to Amy. Yeah. So Amy, you kicked off today's container. This is your second class. Yeah. You haven't got any of your colleagues here. The majority of people are recovery connections. You've got another lone outsider, Katie here from Raw, but Katie's an old timer here. Mystic Meg has been here for months. Fantastic. Yeah. How are you doing? You brought a great question to the container.
Thank you. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot more confident than last week. I think last week was a bit of a fear of the unknown, and I really didn't know what to expect. I really struggled last week actually. Um, and I left thinking that I couldn't do my job. I think there was so much to take away. And I really had to sit with that, and it felt uncomfortable. It took me a good couple of days to sort of process it. And I spoke to a couple of colleagues about how I was feeling, and I felt really supported. And then I felt okay after that. And then I felt raring to go for this session.
What
Um,
was it that was kind of overwhelming? Is that the right
I-
word to use?
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I think at the time I felt overwhelming, and then afterwards, after I'd reflected on it, I think I was triggered by, and I don't feel triggered today, but being asked very direct questions really took me back to being at school. And when I went to school, you were asked direct questions, and if it was wrong, you were really put on the spot and told in front of other people you are wrong. And I was talking to Becca, who's a colleague of mine, about how, like, we used to do tests at school, and if you were in the lowest view, you had to stand up, and you were told, like, it were pointed out, oh, this person scored the lowest. And that did happen to me a few times, and it really took me back to being a child. Not that you had made me stand up, just point this out to other people or point things out, but being asked very direct questions made me feel like a rabbit in a headlight. And I didn't expect that, and I really had to work through it afterwards and sort of process how that made me feel, um, which was something that I wasn't expecting. I feel okay now.
So, first of all, I want to I feel very grateful that you're able to say that. Yeah. I feel shit. I really didn't want to trigger your childhood school trauma because that's something that I really relate to. My direct questions, yeah, I've had that feedback before that I can be quite direct. And yeah, but it certainly wasn't my intention to kind of trigger you. The What's good about this sort of experience is you can build resilience around that sort of stuff. Yeah. Um, what do I need? Is there anything I need to apologize for?
No,
No.
not at all. I think it's good learning for me, definitely. And I think that um there's nothing wrong with asking a direct question at all. Um, I think it just took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it. And at the time, I didn't identify it. It wasn't until the next day when I was sitting with it and I was like, oh, this is where this has come from. What's this about? And just had to explore it. Um, but yeah, it was good.
So
Um,
it shook up your psyche,
yeah,
and
definitely.
and
Yeah,
and it and only the next day it kind
yeah,
of settled. Okay.
yeah. But I see it as a positive thing. I don't see it as a negative thing.
Okay. So those of us that are kind of working on the front line, for want of a better word, asking direct questions to the people that we're serving might have an impact. Like, I was completely unaware of this. It's certainly not my intention. In fact, my enthusiasm has unintentionally had an impact. Yeah. And I'm sure Michael might find himself in that position at times. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it quite just by taking the time and making something not transactional, getting past a certain point, you can start to make progress with somebody by just taking that little bit of extra time. It happened a couple of weeks ago when I took the time and I explored things a little bit further with a client, and I managed to bring her into service because she hadn't been into service before. Whereas if it might have been another person there, it might have just been a transaction where it was just, yep, you want some foil? Okay, no problem. There's the foil in a bag, out the door. But because I took that time and built that rapport, the lady felt confident to then talk to me about what her recovery options might be and how it might look. So yeah, for me, I do always try to go that extra bit to get that. If somebody doesn't want that, that's absolutely fine as well. But I kind of know where that level is. If that makes sense.
All right. Has everyone spoken? Have I picked on everyone?
I don't think you picked on Tom properly yet, and Dan.
You don't think I've picked on them properly? What would proper picking on be?
Well, I think Dan's been quite quiet today, and I think Tom's been quite quiet.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you on that one, but let's check with them. Tom, Dan, is there anything that you'd like to come in with?
I
No,
suppose.
go on, Tom.
Oh,
Go on.
cheers. So I think I just find these sessions really insightful, and I think this is my 10th one I've done now, and it's given me the opportunity to really develop the confidence in my role of what I was doing before, and it's the ability to identify why I'm feeling a certain way in a certain situation. So if something went positive or something went wrong at work, and it gives me the opportunity to really reflect on it and understand that it's not a reflection of my ability to do my job. It's just more of my reaction to an event that's happened. Um, I'm at the minute I'm actually just started a new role at work, so I'm now doing like a traineeship for being a mental health practitioner, and I can still confidently say that I'll be able to use like the mechanisms of coaching and like that idea of facilitating the environment where that person can come to their own realization in this role as well. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing. So thank you for that.
Wonderful. Tom, just before you go, Dan, Tom, just get your manager to send me an email to say you're good to go, and then you can get your certificate. If this is your 10th one, well done. And I really do hope you come back for more, but well done. Dan?
Yeah, I mean, our job, I'd say there's a lot of talking involved in my job because I'm having to take groups and things like that. So it's quite nice just to listen, sit back and listen for sometimes, and actually train my ears in to pick up people speaking and things like that. Because let's say can be quite chaotic at work. So it's quite nice just to listen and hear other people's point of views from our side of the fence. So yeah, no, it's sometimes nice just to listen, and I can take snippets from everyone, and then it can incorporate them into my day-to-day life. But yeah, no, I'm good.
Thank you. Michael, are you satisfied now?
Perfectly satisfied. Thank you.
All right. So Dan, would you like to start the checkout? Just how you're feeling and something that you've learned today. And just so you know, you can't repeat the same learning that someone's learned. So we're going to, what I've learned is this and da 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 da.
Right, okay, thanks for letting us go first then. No, I'm feeling good. Looking forward to getting back to work tomorrow. And something I've learned today is you've got to be relatable in certain situations, but then it's okay if you can't relate in a certain situation as well. Don't feel like you have to push yourself to say, yeah, I understand how you're feeling, because you can't understand how everyone's feeling all the time about a scenario. And I will tag. Go on, Kirsty.
Hiya. Yeah, I'm feeling good. All the kids have just landed back, so it's absolutely chaos. So I've come upstairs out the way. I was pleased it actually kicked off with boundaries. Obviously, with just coming into the organisation in March, I know I can be a gobshite and overshare. So it was nice to start off with that and hear different people on what they do with it. Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't like to think I overshared and hurt somebody's feelings. So yeah, I was really impressed with that, and that's had a lot of impact on me. And I will use a little bit of what everybody said and then put my own share together. So yeah, I'll tag Tracy.
Feeling good. Looking forward to home time. It's been a long day. But like I said, the boundaries thing was good for me. Learned a lot about that. But also with the direct questioning as well. Sometimes you forget that it can lead to triggers for people. So I think having an awareness of that as well was something that I've learned. I'm gonna tag Danny.
Yeah, so for me, what I've learned is ask permission before you jump on someone. No, like what I've sort of learned, to be honest, is more about what I'm going to be doing in my role, but that's good. And so it is okay to sometimes open up and share with your colleagues about how you've been feeling and things affect, so you can get that support if you need it. And yeah, just looking forward to getting into Darlington and get the ball rolling. I will tag Claire.
Oh, thanks, Danny.
May as well roll you in.
I'm checking out mixed emotions due to stuff I've got going on. But I'm really grateful that I've come on the training today, and I've learned that no matter what you're going through, there is always support there for you and people there for you. And it's okay to break, which I am at the moment. So yeah, I tag Andrew.
Thanks, Claire. Yeah, I've enjoyed today. It's been fun and I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I kind of like the boundaries one, so it's a long time since I did the training for that one, but it's sort of part of our job role anyway. So it's nice to know what other people are feeling about their boundaries. So I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I'll tag. Has Tom spoke? Tom?
No, I'm feeling good, and I think today I've took away a lot about learning about people's different perspectives of what the concept of lived experience means to them. So I'm gonna tag who hasn't even gone. Who's not gone? Daryl.
What have I learned today? I've learned I don't know a fucking awful lot, to be truthful, about boundaries. But I've learned it's going to be important to do this boundary training on 29th for a day and a half. Just, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, to be truthful, at the minute. And life's good. Yeah, that's me. And who do I want to tag? Well, tag. Are you gone, Michael?
No, I haven't gone yet. I've learned that there's a lot of fucking good people out there. No matter how bad really people say, there's a lot of good people there willing to help. Yeah, and I'm checking out really good. And I think, is that it, David? Have you checked out?
Hey, Tracy, did you go? Yeah. And Katie, did you go?
Oh, no,
No.
sorry, I'd tag Katie then.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm checking out, feeling really positive. What I've learned today is two things. One, that I'm better at boundaries than I realise, because I always think I'm really shit at boundaries because I'm wobbly, but I know I do them in the right way for me and for the people I work for. So that, and also recognising that people's outsides don't match their insides, because Amy, last week you was amazing. You helped me with something last week. You know, you was absolutely brilliant, and I would not have realised that you felt that way. So it's reminding me to be mindful of what people present is not always necessarily what they're feeling. So yeah, and I tag Amy. Have you been?
No, not yet.
No.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I've really enjoyed today. I have learnt that boundaries are a bit like a jelly. They're a bit wibbly wobbly, but it's okay to get it wrong. And we're only human, so we're probably all going to get it wrong at some point. And I'll tag David.
Thank you. Kirsty, did you go?
Yeah, I went.
Yeah, oh, okay. All right, so I check out, yeah, I find on a Thursday at this time I'm quite tired. But I enjoyed today. This work means a lot to me, and yeah, it's wonderful to see where Michael said there's a lot of good people out there, that I realized, like, oh yeah, I'm filled with hope for the world. So and that fills me with a lot of gratitude. So thank you, everyone. Katie, if you could stick around after class, please. Naughty girl, I will need to check on you on your homework. I'm joking.
Yes.
I'm joking. Yeah. Can you just stick around for a sec, Katie? Bye-bye, everyone. See you all next week.
Cheers now.
See you later.